What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of nftwins. Today, I want to talk about Japan. Why?
Japan!
Why Japan, Lucas? Because they invented something new.
They have very sticky products, if you know what I mean.
Yes, Lucas is trying to make a pun because Japan just invented another fucking super glue. And a super glue, I mean a super glue. Because Lucas has no clue what we're talking about, that super glue. All right, bad jokes aside.
All right, so all our podcasts are always about AI. So this is actually very, very interesting because the scientists in Japan literally fed their AI 24,000 natural adhesive proteins and then let it build or basically run simulations on which proteins can create a good glue, which is very, very fascinating because nowadays, beginnings right now, it's just what you used to do is you mix something together and then hope it sticks. So
Yeah.
now you go the other way around. You say, okay, I want to have a super sticky product, put every ingredient in there, and then let that bad boy calculate or give you the best result or potential
Okay, Lucas,
mixtures.
did you read about Dr. Dragdes?
No, please tell me about it.
So let me drag these nuts on your face.
I think Mark just slept with a clown last night.
Oh my god! All right, that was the last joke. All right, let's get this going. I was excited to say this all day. In preparation, I was already I want to say this.
All right, tell me,
Couldn't
Mark.
even make it to the line. Get it. All right. All right, a little bit of the story behind how the glue was invented and where it was invented. So I already mentioned it was invented or actually found out in Hokkaido University in Japan. They had collaborations with other universities, but this is the main one. So what they did, Lucas already scrapped the surface a little bit. They used AI to use the predictive power of AI to actually analyze 24,000 adhesive proteins that come from nature. They come from barnacles, mussels, bacteria, viruses, etc. So, in the traditional sense, what usually people or humans did was they would just basically copy one animal and then whatever the technology that animals were using through nature and then mix it and then basically copy it. But now they mix and match the best to find the best outcome, actually, which now you don't have to take years and years to do, but you just do an analysis. I don't know how long the computation will take, but probably maximum couple of days. Well, with it, just the computational part. So they tested, at the end of the day, they tested 180 versions of the polymers and then trained an AI to predict which combination would stick the best underwater. Why underwater? Because that's all they wanted to have. Because honestly, nowadays it's a big problem to have strong adhesives in the water because it's so much harder to do. Because one, they need to keep the water out, right? The molecules, the water molecules, and second, they need to be resistant to salt, all these kind of conditions.
It's like horrible
movement, etc.
conditions, right? Because
Exactly.
water is like super shit. It needs to be sticky from day one, and then also salt. It's like it's one of these things. If it sustains this environment, it can sustain on anyone. So actually, what it did, what is like very, very interesting, is they literally took a little rubber duck, a yellow rubber duck, and glued it to rocks on the sea.
It's always a rubber duck. I don't know why, man.
Because it looks funny, and also a yellow rubber duck you can always see. Because if it gets off, if it just like
it's good PR, right? It's good PR.
Definitely, for sure. So actually, they sticked it onto a rock and was, I think, 2 weeks submerged underwater and was still sticking. Also, one of the things that I thought was very, very fascinating is
more than 2 weeks actually.
That they basically instantly sealed a pipe with this, which is like
for those people. Have you ever guys seen the video of that guy, a little chubby guy, like this is cylinder with the water's gushing out, and he just used this fucking super tape. Pop,
all these memes, just like when you have problems, whatever, and then just shopping or whatever.
Exactly. So basically, they did that, but they had a bigger hole. I think the other one had just, I don't know, half a centimeter or something diameter, like a quarter of an inch. And this one was 2 centimeters, so almost an inch, like 0.8 of an inch in diameter. And they just plugged it. And also it lasted for hours. So the other thing was with the other glue thing, that after an hour and a half already had leakage, and this did not have any leakage. So it is apparently it is 10 times as strong as any other solutions that are currently out the market.
All right, Mark. Now let's talk about why does it even matter, right? Because I think it's like very cool. AI used it, but first of all, why do we even need better glue? Like, what industries are impacted? How big are these industries? And yeah, what are the business
All right, glue,
implications?
you can never have too strong of a glue. You can use it for any kind of thing, right? You can start off with, we already talked about the sea. I mean,
So
let's go with
marine
the duck.
repairs.
So exactly, and marina repairs, if you have any pipes that are running underwater, any boats maybe that are about to have small holes, you can basically seal these temporary seals. Then you can even go further. You can go into the human body, because this thing is also
Why?
so this is super cool. So this is also, I don't know what is it called, but it's basically the body does not, it's not bad for the body, and it's just neutral, I guess, in that sense. And because of that, you can actually, I don't know, super glue
When you right
veins
now, what you
or
can see
wet
right now,
anything
right?
wet.
Currently, you already have this kind of stuff, which is a glue that the body absorbs over time. So instead of getting stitches, you glue it
Yeah.
together. But of course, this one from Japan is obviously still in experimenting phase, and before you actually can use it for the human body, will take years because it needs to be tested, etc. But in general, it's like very cool that it's first of all only from proteins that exist in nature, as well as then for you can use it for construction, so for pipes. So for example, imagine humid and wet environments where normal glue doesn't have enough time or will not really like get hard, the pun intended. So yeah, these are like
He
very,
was
very
talking about his
important
problems
ones.
again.
Yeah. All right, Mark, how big is the market?
Well, currently the adhesive market is 65 billion globally, with steady growth, because we need to glue stuff always. If you buy more, build more, you're gonna have to glue more. So currently, Lucas already mentioned, this is still in licensing, so development. It's not licensed yet. So what is the big play, right? These could be like, what are the big
baby.
3M, Henkel, Loctite. They are the big players in the glue market. Let's put it this way. So obviously, Japan could license it out, or they could license out to their own homegrown companies, so startups, and then go from there and grow it massively. The question is still also out there: how big is or how strong is going to be the patent?
Also, do you think they need then they need a lot of testing to actually sell it, like to get the verification? I mean, of course, for medical, yes, but for normal glue,
No, I don't think so. It works or it doesn't work. Not testing. It's like, how much shit can you buy? But if for medical, 100%. But that's another thing. Why would you go down that route? You can do it later if you have the patent.
Yeah.
Patent lasts 20 years. You're good to go, man. I'm not sure if you can have to. I think you have to apply for the patent for a specific purpose also. So, yeah. Anyways, it's super cool. They have a fucking massive opportunity now to do all this. I mean, they already have a kind of viral going video with the duck, which is super cool. That they did that, and they have actually it's cool because they have time lapse, so you see all the waves coming and the duck's not moving. And if you've ever been by the sea or lived by the sea, you know how corrosive the water is, and the water line. I mean, it literally carves like holes into rocks, right? So it's crazy that the duck didn't move. And even I think it was a couple of weeks or maybe even a year that had it there. Super cool, super impressive. I really, really like it. Also, one another thing is I think this might be a super viable business to do this. What would you do, Lucas? Would you license this or start your own? If you are,
depends on the deal. To be honest, like if 3M, you can directly go. If you say, I don't know, depends how good the deal is. Of course, if you have also
consider the stakeholders,
IP
right?
rights,
Because who are the
etc.
stakeholders? You have the company.
Honestly,
So you have the university.
I would probably
you have
license
the
it. Doesn't matter.
researchers.
I would
etc.
license it because researchers are not business people, tend to be. So rather license it if you have all the IP, etc. If you have it like for 20 years, whatever, man, you can make a lot of money as long as you had a good deal out of it. But for me, Mark,
I would license this too. I would license 100%.
what I want to talk about is in general the thanks to AI that we see now a shift in material design. So in general, it's kind of like a innovation because back in the day, I mean, we mentioned it already earlier that before you always like you're looking at something, trial and error, trying to create a new stuff, and it's like very, very manual. But now it's called inverse design. So inverse design is basically you start within. So because right now you mix two things and then you see results. So you're like, okay, I mix this, and let's see what are the properties of this material or the molecules. If
Then you
mix them.
analyze basically.
Exactly. So you mix and then you see the results. Now it's the other way around. You're like, okay, I want the sticky underwater glue, and then AI will process, let's say, the 24,000 proteins that
It already exists. So
exactly
basically
exists, and then just say, okay, AI works now backwards. So basically, from the goal, from the sticky underwater glue, and works towards, okay, these are the molecules that most likely, if you mix them together, will create this, which is like completely opposite of now. It's like, oh, trial and error. Okay, this works. This doesn't work.
Well, it's worked for the last 10,000 years. Might as well work for the next, no?
I don't think so, because like you can be so much faster. It's like, so think about how much, like, this is now just for glue, but I think it's for anything, like aviation, all of it.
So this is the thing I always wonder is what are the limitations of that? Because what if they do the math wrong? I mean, you just test it, right?
That's the thing. You give it multiple things.
You just test it and then you go from there, because it's not like, oh, you have to do this and then people die. No, you just still keep testing, but it gives you a good, it's like writer's block, right? People have it, they don't know what to write. And then,
but what is really writer's block, right? Writer's block is just people thinking they have, okay, in my opinion, writer's block is you think you need to perform write a great article, but you're not living up to your expectations, and then it's where you get stuck. But if you just tell yourself, oh, I'm proving myself today how shitty I'm actually a writer I am, then in the end, you actually just write something and then you get better by doing so. So you don't even have the pressure, because most of them is a pressure thing. You feel like a writer's block.
It's a pressure and being overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. And if you tell yourself, I'm a shitty writer anyways, let me prove myself to myself how shitty I'm a writer I am.
I think that's a very negative thought.
It is, but I think it actually works because like it releases pressure.
So when do you do that in your life?
I don't write.
Well, is it the same as procrastination?
Yeah, that's why I'm always like, well, same with procrastinate. I think everybody
I've seen you procrastinate.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm just like, I write
like,
things down. I'm just like, okay, break it down to smaller pieces and then just get started.
Totally different than we talked
about.
No,
because you get started.
Right? You get started, but you said like tell yourself that you're shitty about something, and then
no. I'm gonna prove myself how bad of a writer I am, right? Because the thing is of writer's block comes from the point that you might not perform as well as you thought how good you really are. If that makes sense.
No. I want to be honest with you, Lucas. I don't think
so. I listened to it on a podcast and it sounded very smart.
It sounded smart. You probably remembered something different, and you missed a couple of spots. But you know, we're not here for science and quoting from other podcasts. We have our own podcast.
So, no, but now, so coming back, what are the takeaways, Mark?
Well, honestly, a few things, because we talk about business and cool stuff that we really, really like. It's cool that we have now, that Japan just came up with the super glue, which is 10 times stronger than anything else. I think it has 1.2 megapascal, I don't know, in strength. No idea what that means, but science, so fuck yeah. And look, new business. So we're talking about the business application. I think they have a great opportunity to do licenses away, and then I'm going to probably make millions, hundreds of millions, if not billions over the long run, like the long term, over the next 20 years, because this happens all the time. That like universities such as Stanford, they have the best researchers, and then they license out some of their IP to companies, and then they generate a lot of revenue. And that's also how they pay some of the researchers, etc.
I think also one of the things which is, because we always talk from the AI perspective as well. For me, it's interesting to see that with the rise of AI, we see so many. First of all, AI is like open. Like we have never been technology so open. Like there's so many open source models, etc.
Well, it's open source, but it doesn't necessarily open because you don't know what goes into the training.
Okay, but it sees open source, so everybody can access it, which is like makes a huge difference. Yeah. And then you can see now in unrelated
democratized
in unrelated subject areas, for example, like the the material innovation, that it has a huge impact because everybody starts using it, and it will just accelerate innovation in any sector, which I think is very fascinating to see because like people, they're not even related to AI, but it has a huge impact on their life and business.
No, 100%. I like where this is going. I'm super excited to see much more niche AIs. I mean, this one was very niche because it was, at least in this case, it was talking about glues and just to analyze this specifically. I will also wonder if at some point they're not going to use an LLM, but maybe something different. Because I mean, Apple released the, what was it called? VLM?
No, but this is
Visual.
a visual learning model.
Yeah, I know, but this is my point. Like that you can train it on different modalities.
I mean, they just have an agentic structure, and then you can just use it.
Yeah, but I'm just curious because LLMs currently the status, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be.
Oh
The
no,
best.
for sure. I mean, I'm excited where this leads. But yeah, coming back, summary, love it, awesome product. I'm excited to see what else is coming in the future.
I'm excited how much money they're gonna make about this with this, and how much further the glue industry is going to like grow, because it's something that is super
65
cool.
billion is a huge ass market.
Yeah, but it says it's growing, man. Like 65 billion is not that much. It's a lot, but for the whole world,
Okay,
I don't know, man. Gluing 65 billion.
I think that wasn't the bicycle market like 180 billion, so not that much bigger.
What do you mean it's not that much bigger? But think about bicycles. What do you need to glue? You need to glue a lot of shit there too.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Well, you have a hole, boop.
Exactly. And waterproof, so
We'll see. All right, everybody, we've been rambling on for too much, and of course, hope you like it. Let us know in the comments. Catch you next one. Peace.
peace.